The Girl Who Slept on Ashes. In the dusty village of Ingalu, where cracked earth greeted bare feet and laughter was a rare melody, lived a girl named Amina. She was no stranger to hardship. Ever since her parents died in a mysterious fire when she was 5, she had lived under the roof of her Aunt Bakira, a woman with a heart as dry as the harmattan wind. Amina was 12 when she learned never to cry. Crying only brought more beatings. Her days began before sunrise, sweeping the compound, fetching water from the distant stream, and working in the small cassava field. She ate only when leftovers were available, and slept beside the fireplace on cold ashes, while her cousins rested on woven mats in the inner room. Yet despite her suffering, Amina's spirit refused to die. She found comfort in storytelling, stories she remembered from her mother's lullabies. She would whisper to herself under the stars, imagining herself as a warrior princess, or a healer whose touch brought kings to their knees. Sometimes, she would sit beneath the old baobab tree behind the compound and carve shapes into the earth, dreaming of a world where she mattered. One morning, as Amina fetched water before the rooster crowed, she saw something strange near the bush path. A man, lying on the ground, his leg bleeding, his eyes flickering like candlelight in wind. Fear gripped her. Bandits roamed that path. But the man didn't look like a bandit. His clothes were torn but made of rich fabric, like those worn by travelers from the north. She approached slowly, clutching her calabash. "Sir," she whispered. His eyes opened wide in panic. "Don't let them find me," he croaked. "Who?" she asked, kneeling beside him. "The ones who betrayed the king," he murmured before passing out. Amina's heart thudded in her chest. Betrayed the king? What king? But she had no time to wonder. The man was dying. She could not carry him, so she fetched her calabash full of water and poured some gently into his mouth. Then, using the long scarf around her waist, she tied a tight bandage around his leg. That day, she didn't return home. She sat with him under the mango tree, watching over him. When night came, she brought roasted yams she had hidden from the market waste bin, and fed him bit by bit. He told her his name was Malik, and that he had once served in the royal household of Zungala Kingdom, far to the north. He had fled after witnessing a murder in the palace, a murder of the rightful king by his younger brother. And the king's daughter, she vanished the same night, he added, staring at Amina. She would be around your age now. Amina laughed. Me? A princess? My aunt would skin you alive for such a joke. But Malik didn't laugh. You have her eyes, he said softly. Whispers of royal blood. Malik grew stronger over the next few days. Amina brought him herbs stolen from her aunt's garden, and food she scavenged from the marketplace. She kept his presence a secret, even from her curious little cousin, Moyo. Every day, she sat by Malik under the mango tree, listening to his stories of Zungala Kingdom, the golden palace that kissed the sun, the marketplace filled with spices and silk, the wise King Nadoto, and his beautiful queen. But power breeds envy, Malik said one evening, staring into the setting sun. The king's brother, General Karum, wanted the throne. He poisoned the king and declared the queen and princess missing, presumed dead. Only I escaped with the truth. And you think I'm that princess? Amina scoffed, her voice bitter. I'm just a nobody. I fetch water, sleep on ashes, and get whipped for breathing too loudly. Malik reached into the folds of his tunic and pulled out a small locket wrapped in cloth. I've kept this for years, he said. It belonged to the queen. Inside is the only image of the princess, drawn by the royal artist when she was just a baby. Amina took the locket carefully. Inside was a delicate drawing, a baby with curly hair and wide, almond-shaped eyes. Eyes just like hers. Her breath caught in her throat. "It's impossible," she whispered. Malik leaned in. "Do you remember anything from when you were very young? A fire, running." Flashes sparked in Amina's mind, smoke, screaming, the feel of warm hands carrying her through the dark. She had always assumed they were nightmares. "Your aunt must know more than she's told you," Malik said. "She may have hidden you to protect you, or to use you." That night, Amina returned home in silence, her head spinning with doubt and fear. She stared at Aunt Bakira long and hard as the woman barked orders and slapped her cousin for dropping a bowl. Could this cruel woman have known all along? Later that night, Amina sneaked into her aunt's room and searched the old wooden chest. Beneath folded wrappers and coins, she found a faded piece of cloth, royal blue, with gold embroidery bearing the Zungala crest, a lion beside a crescent moon. Her hands trembled. "Amina!" came a sharp voice behind her. She spun around to see Aunt Bakira in the doorway, eyes wide with fury. "What are you doing, you wretched rat?" Amina held up the cloth. "You knew who I was." Bakira froze. For the first time, Amina saw fear in her eyes. "I saved your life," Bakira hissed. "You think you were safe in that palace. They would have killed you too. But you never told me. You let me live like a dog. Because I knew what you'd become. And I wasn't going to risk everything for a spoiled royal brat." Amina stepped forward, her voice calm. "Then you should have killed me when you had the chance. Because now, I know the truth." Bakira lunged at her, but Amina was faster. She ran into the night, clutching the locket and the royal cloth, straight to Malik. "It's true," she said breathlessly. "She knew. She hid me." Malik looked at her with tears in his eyes. "Then it's time, Princess Amina. Time to take back what's yours." Return of the Lion's Daughter. The journey to Zungala Kingdom took 4 days through dense forests, hills, and winding paths. Malik, though limping, led the way with determination. Amina, now burning with a purpose she never knew she had, followed closely, the royal cloth tied around her waist, and the locket hidden beneath her blouse. As they approached the outskirts of Zungala, the grandeur of the kingdom unfolded before her eyes. Towers of red clay rose above the horizon, and in the distance, the great lion gate stood guarded by fierce warriors dressed in green and gold. But the people looked tired, their eyes dim with hopelessness. The market stalls were nearly empty. Malik whispered, "Karum has drained the land. Taxes, punishments, and fear, that's all he's given them." They arrived at the home of an old friend of Malik's, Elder Yarrow, a former palace advisor who had been forced into hiding after refusing to pledge loyalty to Karum. The old man wept when he saw Amina. "She has her mother's face," he said, touching her cheek gently. "The spirits have not forgotten." Elder Yarrow wasted no time. He summoned loyal followers who still believed in the old royal line. Word spread through the city's hidden corners, the lost princess had returned. But Amina was not ready to walk into the palace unarmed. "I need the truth," she said. "All of it." Sayaro told her the story. King Nadodo had planned to name her heir instead of Karum, breaking tradition by choosing his daughter. Karum, hungry for power, poisoned the king and set fire to the royal nursery, believing he had killed her. But a loyal maid smuggled her out and fled, only to be caught and killed. Amina was hidden with Bakira, who was paid to protect her. Instead, she had buried the truth and raised her like a slave. As the truth sunk in, Amina sat quietly, staring into the flickering firelight. She was a princess. A true heir. But how could a girl raised in ashes lead a kingdom? Elder Yarrow knelt before her. You are the lion's daughter, child. Royalty is not in silk or gold, it's in your courage. The plan was set. A festival was to be held in 3 days, the day of the rising sun, when Karum would address the people. That would be the day Amina revealed herself. But spies roamed Zungala's streets. One of them caught sight of Malik and followed him back to Yarrow's compound. That night, as Amina slept, soldiers raided the home. Malik fought bravely, but they were outnumbered. Amina was captured, thrown into a dark cell beneath the palace she had once called home. Karum came to her the next morning, smirking. So this is the rat who claims to be royal. I am not claiming, I am, Amina replied, chin high. Karum laughed. Do you think your blood gives you power? I have ruled for years. No one will kneel to an orphan girl. You're right, Amina said. They won't kneel because I'm royal. They'll rise because I'm justice. Karum's smile vanished. But Amina had one last move left, something Karum didn't know. She had sent a message to the people through Malik before her capture. And they were ready. The throne reclaimed. The sun rose over Zungala Kingdom, casting golden light across the palace walls. It was the day of the rising sun, and the city square overflowed with villagers, chiefs, traders, and soldiers. All had gathered to hear King Karum deliver his annual speech, though in their hearts, few still believed in him. Karum stood on the balcony above the crowd, robed in crimson and gold, flanked by guards with spears. He began his usual speech, hollow words of unity, promises of progress, and boasts of strength. But as he spoke, a whisper stirred in the crowd. She's alive, the princess. Then, from the center of the square, Malik appeared, bruised, but unbroken. Behind him, Elder Yarrow and a dozen respected elders emerged, holding a royal seal, the symbol of the true heir. Karum's voice faltered. What is this madness? He roared. Then, Amina stepped forward. Her hair was tied in braids like her mother once wore. She had wrapped herself in a robe made from the royal cloth she found in her aunt's chest. The locket shone on her chest. The crowd gasped. I am Amina, daughter of King Nidodo and Queen Samira, she declared, her voice strong. The lion's daughter has returned. Chaos broke out. The people murmured, then chanted. Amina, Amina, Amina. Karum's face twisted in fury. Guards, seize her. But the guards hesitated. Many of them had families who had suffered under Karum's rule. They looked at each other, then slowly backed away. Elder Yarrow stepped forward and held up a document sealed in wax. This, he said, is the late king's decree. He named Amina his successor. I was there. And I have kept this hidden all these years. Karum drew his sword. She will not take what I built. Amina stood her ground. You built nothing but fear. Karum charged. The crowd gasped. But before he could reach her, Malik stepped in with a staff and blocked the blow. The two men clashed, but Karum was blinded by rage. With one swift move, Malik disarmed him. Soldiers surrounded the disgraced usurper. This time, they did not protect him, they bound him. The people cheered. That afternoon, beneath the baobab tree in the palace courtyard, Amina was crowned Queen of Zungala. The air smelled of flowers and fresh rain. Drums beat, dancers twirled, and for the first time in years, hope bloomed. Amina's first decree: free education for children, restoration of markets, and punishment for corrupt officials. She visited her Aunt Bakira only once. She found her sitting outside her crumbling hut, looking older than ever. I see you've come to finish me, Bakira spat. No, Amina said. I've come to thank you. You taught me how to endure. But now, I choose to forgive. She turned and walked away, her head high. At night, she sat under the same stars she once whispered to as a poor orphan girl. But now, she was no longer alone. She was Amina, the queen, the orphan who dined with kings, not because of her blood, but because of her bravery. And the kingdom would never forget her story. The end.